What's happening, everybody? Jeff Lightsy Jr. here with the Black Boss Channel and Victory Formation. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter at JLightsy7. I post stuff on there all the time where we have great sports and all kinds of black people conversations. So Deion Sanders, guys, I know I love talking about Deion Sanders and what he's got going down there in Jackson, Mississippi with the Jackson State football team. Deion Sanders is hosting the satellite camp, and I'm going to show you Deion Sanders a post that he made on Instagram, and it's a satellite camp that he hopes to have a bunch of schools, including a bunch of HBCU schools from the SWAC and even those from the OVC. It says, calling all dogs, we want to see you live, baby. This is my first college camp with the Jackson State football team, and I expect the best talent from all over. This is a satellite camp, so there will be many schools on hand and could offer you a scholarship on the spot. I know I am if you got it. More details will come out. This is one that you and your parents better not procrastinate about. All HBCUs, you are personally invited. And so the camp is the Deion Sanders football camp at Jackson State University on June 19th, Juneteenth, for those who don't know. One-day camp for all positions, rising 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders as of fall of 2021. He's going to have SEC schools there, MEAC schools, SWAC schools, CIAA, and OVC schools there on hand to scout and to recruit some of these kids. And I think this is a beautiful thing because, once again, this also allows, the kids who might not have ever considered Jackson State or might not have ever considered Tennessee State or might not ever consider Grambling or Southern or, Norfolk State or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, now they get a chance to come in and get recruited and get scouted. And even if, and in some schools, you know what I mean? Like, maybe a kid was thinking he was going to go to, I don't know, to Vanderbilt or to an SEC school, and he gets around Deion and his staff, or gets around the Southern staff, or gets around, the Alabama A&M staff, and now he's reconsidering and maybe wants to go to a school in the SWAC, or maybe wants to go HBCU football instead of going to play in the SEC or the ACC. I think this is beautiful because, once again, we know Deion Sanders' name draws a crowd. We know Deion Sanders' name holds weight. We know people will come out for Deion Sanders. I know if I was in high school and I was a pretty good prospect, I would head down to the Jackson State camp. I would make the trip from Kentucky and go and check out Jackson State, especially if I have a chance to potentially play for Coach Prime or potentially play, down there at Alabama A&M, or potentially play for an SEC school. Like, there's so many opportunities that will come out of this camp. And this is just camp one of what I think Deion will have 2 or 3 during the summer. This is me just speculating, just guessing that he's going to have multiple football camps at Jackson State during the summer. And because you got to remember, with the NCAA, for those who don't know, they've been in this dead period, right? So student athletes, the guys in the class of 2021 who committed to their school and who are going to play for the school, a lot of them, no matter what division, whether you're the SWAC, the ACC, the SEC, the Big 10, the Big 12, the MEAC, the CIAA, the whatever, they've never been on campus because there was a recruiting dead period that lasts up until June 1. It's still ongoing. It's been ongoing over the last year, obviously, because of the coronavirus pandemic. So kids haven't been able, unless you saw your school that you committed to in years prior to 2020, you've never actually seen your coaches in person, been to the campus, seen the facilities, seen where you're going to be playing, walked around the school. Like, you've never done that because there's been a recruiting dead period over the last year, over a year. So this is huge because this will be one of the, very first, because the dead period is just lifting on June 1st. So June will be the first month high school athletes, recruits will be able to go to said campus, whatever school they're considering. So that is huge. And that's why it's really big for Deion, for the other HBCUs to get kids on campus, to allow them to see the culture, to allow them to see what's taking place, to allow them to know, like, hey, we're turning this thing around. First year we went 3-3. Next year, we hope to go a lot better. When guys become eligible, we got our second football season within the program, within Coach Prime. Now we know how Coach Prime operates. Now we know how Coach Thurman operates. Now we know how, like the secondary coach, the linebacker coach. We know how the daily routine goes about. All the players are there. The ones who wanted to get lost transferred out. The ones who want to be here for the long run and want to be a part of the change are here. We had struggles on the offensive line. We went out and got some offensive linemen. We had struggles on the defensive line. We couldn't get any sacks, any pressure. We went out and got some defensive linemen. So that is the change that I expect to see with Jackson State. Tennessee State with Eddie George, they're going to struggle the first year because just like how what Deion had to do, you got to change everything completely from the inside out, right? And so it's going to take time. You're going to have to go get some recruits, and they're not going to be eligible until next year, next fall. So you're going to have to go get you some recruits because the Eddie George got hired late. So most kids are signed already. And go out and get you some ball players and get ready for the 22 season. The 21 season, you're just establishing, you're laying the foundation, right? You can't have a successful home, a successful business, successful anything without the foundation being right. So you lay down a foundation, you go out, get your guys, people, the players who are like, man, this ain't for me, they'll transfer out, just like the guys for Jackson State. They'll transfer out, and you'll get the guys that don't want to be there. And I can't wait to see what Eddie George does at Tennessee State. Nashville is pretty close to where I live. And I'm tapped in with Coach Prime and Deion Sanders. But they're having a satellite camp that will have SEC schools there. And I hope the other SWAC and other HBCUs are able to be there and maybe potentially pull some recruits out of this camp. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Once again, I'm Jeff Lightsy Jr. with the Black Boss Channel and Victory Formation. Follow us on Instagram at VF Sports Show. It's right here. We post content on there all the time. Thank you guys for tuning in.